much as you can showcase what you do in relating it to impact will also help us moving others into this direction. I know it's a broad question. We probably would need a one-day seminar to really dig into the topic, but given our time constraints, if you could give us a sort of sense of where you are, sort of state of the art, and you believe you are 20% of where you should be, 80%, 50%, if the goal is 100% to this for 5 years or 10 years from now, so just sense of that.
Okay, well, I've actually asked Ken to get our results director, who's probably going to come in any minute.
Good.
But let me say, first of all, we devote 3% of our project budget to basically monitoring, evaluation, and impact assessment. So 3% of all our funds are put into that effort. We've got a full monitoring, evaluation, and learning strategy, which we'd be very happy to share with you, DG. And we're just reviewing that at the moment. But let me give you a sense of what we try to do. We've got a portfolio now of about 200 projects. It's a big portfolio with our partners. So what we've developed is a management information system, which has all of the baseline data and then how we plan to look at the impact of what we do for each project. So that, one of the things that here's Donna. One of the things that we're very keen to do is to set up very clear theories of change for what we're trying to do.
We're trying to find a balance between the top-down, bottom-up sort of approach. At a project level, we've been working very closely with partners to try and develop a results chain for the programs, for their particular project. So that's really sort of the articulation of what are they doing, the outputs, and how is that supposed to bring about the changes that are sort of desired. And that's been a really useful process with partners and really getting the thinking out on the table and clarifying for them and us sort of what the project's about, and using that as the first step to then develop the monitoring plan.
Observe that most of this work that we really enjoy started with our late peers. It really did a lot of contribution when we started with DFID, then we came up with the trademark. So I think it's good to also remember him for his contributions. And as it was starting, Rwanda really joined in 2007. Already there's a lot of interest, and Sudan and Somalia is also asking to join. While the treaty provides that the path that the community is follow was the path of customs union, which started in 2005, and we have moved to common market. Right now we are negotiating the monetary union, and it is hoped that finally we will move to the political sector.
Perhaps if I could now hand it over to our private sector partners, and maybe Andrew, can I call on you, sir, from the East African Business Council? Great to have you here.
No doubt that right now the apex body of the private sector in the region is EABC. We are recognized by the policymakers within the EAC structures or policy process. So, and the other issue is that the establishment of thematic platforms to address particular issues. As mentioned by Lisa, these platforms have brought together these particular sectors: women in business, professional service providers, employers, and standards, as well as tourism. Consensus building, particularly pertaining to these sectors, is one of the issues which has been attained in this whole process. So they address their issues, we push them through the EABC process, up to the Secretary General, then they go to the policymakers or the sectoral councils.
Adam, can I call on you from the Tanzania Chamber, just to talk a little bit about the work that we're doing with your good selves? And may I just congratulate you for winning the International Prize for Innovation, Chamber's Innovation. I think you that we jointly won that just recently. So congratulations. Can I ask you just to briefly talk
Let me tell you that the Tanzania Chamber of Commerce is essentially an advocacy and lobby association striving to create a conducive business environment for everybody, local, regional or international people who are doing business in Tanzania. After the introduction of the EAC Customs Union, we have seen an increase in cross-border trade. And many of our members and business people in Tanzania trying to do business across the borders faced a lot of challenges in the form of non-tariff barriers. And within the EAC, we have a mechanism for reporting and eliminating NTBs. Locally, we have what we call the National Monitoring Committee, for which the Tanzania Chamber of Commerce is a focal point, and the Ministry of Industries and East Africa, of course. And we have at the EAC level what we call the NTB Elimination Forum, where all officials meet, and the advantage mostly is being supported by TMEA. And the advantage we get in that forum is we create rapport among the officials within the EAC. So when it comes to solving these NTBs, sometimes it's not necessary to report them and then discuss them. We simply make a phone call across, you know who is in charge in Uganda, you know who is in charge in Rwanda, and sometimes it's not a real issue, but it's a very simple issue.
Which Trademark is financing. The first one is the upgrade of the customs system, and that is Skuda World. We had a problem with the previous system. It was not web-based. It was not easy to extend and integrate. It did not have a single window platform, and it had challenges with compliance. So, upgrade that system, which will give us enormous benefits. First of all, it will enable integration with other systems. It will enable us to customize it to our requirements, and we are very excited about it. We started the pilot in November last year, and now we are rolling it out to the different stations in the country.
Some of them are trade facilitation. Trademark East Africa provides assistance in many projects related to trade facilitation, such as construction of OSPP at Kobero Kabanga between Tanzania and Burundi, survey of all border posts, facilitate meetings of the border post technical committee, electrification of Kobero at the border between Tanzania and Burundi. The area of business applications, Trademark East Africa facilitated the acquisition of domestic integrated tax system, the acquisition of the Asikuda ward and the ERP integrated back office operations.
And I want to focus really on what we are doing with the power partnership with Trademark East Africa. This is in the area of professionalism or training the clearing and forwarding agents in the region. Because over time we realized that whereas we in the business sector are always complaining about trade facilitation, about non-tariff barriers, some of the challenges that make business not happening in this region are actually found within the private sector. Therefore, we realized that we needed to take a deliberate effort to improve our side of the bargain through training our people, through enhancing professionalism, through inculcating ethics and integrity. Now, what we have done is that we partnered with the revenue authorities, all the 5 revenue authorities of East Africa, and we developed a practitioner's course, training program, a 6-month course, and each and every clearing agent is expected to go through that training course, then pass an exam, and after that you get a practicing certificate.
To begin with, I think South Sudan is very new and most of the people doesn't know. Even it's still now in the world map, South Sudan is not yet there. So I want to brief these meetings about the customs. South Sudan got independent recently, in 2011, 2011. And customs was a part of the Sudan by then. And most of the things were done in the north, and then South Sudan was not benefiting anything from the customs. It was of reasons when it was formed by the President Degree on 15 July 2011, and then new people were recruited. Most of them recruited from the schools, especially the new graduates, which is a big challenge for us. And then when the government realized that it will not bring an impact, so they went in reinstating the South Sudanese who were working in the north, which were retired already. I think they are in old age, but they were reinstated to customs.
That were mentioned by Kenya actually hold for Uganda, and I suspect for the other partner states, and particularly the ministry is responsible for coordinating the integration process. Maybe because of the binding time constraint, Mr. Barak was not able to mention the support and capacity building that is extended to our ministries. Over time, we have had the support from Trademark in terms of some logistical support, some kind of computers, photocopiers, and so on and so forth. But more importantly, we have received support in the areas of training the officers in these ministries, along with some key stakeholders.
And pains of doing business. So it is true that you really don't sit in the ivory tower, but you come down to hear really how the business is going. I know this is almost the second time here, so we really appreciate that very keenness on Kenya. If you contextualize the various presentations that have been made to you, actually they fall into two key areas that you oversee in Geneva in terms of negotiation. That is the trade facilitation and the need for trade. I think all this really boils into those two issues.
Having listened to all of you this morning, it reminded me of a past life of mine. Before being sent to Geneva as a diplomat, I passed my entire life in business, in the private sector, and so I always, the most of my life was spent in business, and I know it resonates a bit what you have said this morning. Now, just maybe I will mention one thing, Frank. In preparation for the 4th global review that will be held in Geneva in July, we have disseminated a number of questionnaires to enterprises. And more than 700 enterprises responded. And I have to say that when we summarize, the question was basically, what are the constraints preventing you from connecting to global value chains or regional value chains? What are the constraints you are really faced with?
Protocols observed. I would like to start my remarks with a tiny breach of protocol, because before thanking the DG and the Deputy DG, I would really like to thank Frank, and through him the team at Trademark East Africa, for having brought us together, but above all for the very good work that they are achieving together with you. And I think we have all throughout this session been terribly impressed by the time management skills of Frank. Talk about an iron fist in a velvet glove. And you are welcome anytime to the Embassy of Sweden in Nairobi to do some capacity building with us.